my pleasure to welcome, I'll start with the lady, Juliet Benitier of the Institute of National Transportation.
No, Institute for National Transformation.
For. Thank you.
Transformation.
Transformation.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. My producer really got me into the gutter this morning. Institute for National Transformation, Mrs. Juliet Benitier. Good morning. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And on my left, I've got two gentlemen, Mr. Wale Ogunade, who is the President, Voters Awareness Initiative, and is also a legal practitioner. Good morning.
Thank you, my sister.
Then Dr. Chris Osengewune, who is of the Department of Philosophy at the University of Lagos. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you very much for joining us. I think I'd like to begin with security this morning. In the course of the week, Chief Olufalaye was kidnapped. And also in the course of the week, I mean, with all the analysis that we heard, we read about, people are saying we got to hear about his because of the person that he is. Many more are taking place that nobody talks about. What are your thoughts about the security situation? Of course, there's also bombings are still going on up there, even though we hear that the army is making great gains in recovering the land space called Nigeria from the insurgents. Mr. Ogunade.
Thank you, ma. The issue of security is sine qua non. It's the fundamental thing. If there is no security anywhere, there won't be any peace. People, I mean, if this environment is not secure, we won't be sitting here comfortable talking grammar. Security is the main thing, and it has been established in Section 14 of the 1999 Constitution that the security and the welfare of the people is the essence, and that's the driving point for all government at all levels, be it at the local, state, and federal level. So you need not be a Chief Olufalaye because before the president should give order. You need not be a Chief Olufalaye before your security should be taken into consideration. You need not be any big man whatsoever because all of us are equal before the law. Anyway, we are getting there gradually with events that have been happening recently. We are getting there. You see, when people like us started promoting these issues and virtue, that equality, that nobody is above the law, they said, look, you want to bring Ethiopia to Nigeria, it's not possible. But here we are. It's getting there gradually. Right? So, to me, the issue of security is fundamental. And nobody needs to be a big man. The police should do their job. It needs not that they should trivialize the intelligence. That's why they are, if they don't have enough people. Thank God we have, I want to believe that Buhari is a listening president. Right. And to me, the IG should go to the police, to the Inspector General of Police and say, Oga, we need more hands to police the country. I'm involved. I was a United Nations consultant sometime, and I was one of those who ensured that indeed we broadened the opened the human rights decks in the police formations all over. And of course, we know that indeed, because of that activities, the police have been able to mellow down their activities in terms of being hard to the people. Right. But be that as it may, where I'm going is that indeed, if they make a requisition, the second leg is that I was involved again. Another proposal we did was a police community activities, community policing. Right. And of course, part of it was, our recommendation was that in every community, there must be police. We see it in America and other parts of Europe. The Yoruba, they call it twins. When you go there, you see them walking around twins all the time, moving around in their cabby cars and so on. Why can't it be possible in Nigeria? Right. So, of course, if these have been done outside the country, then it can be done in Nigeria so that at any times, that is one. The fundamental thing again is about data. As you and I are, maybe some of us who are in the public space, maybe some people will know us. But in other crimes, as soon as a crime is committed, they pick their name, they throw it into the system, and it brings up their picture. And of course, all over, the security, the immigration, they have their pictures. So how do you, even if he disguises, he will be caught. So the issue of security is fundamental. And those who handle security matters should be up and doing to their games, because again, as they are trying to up their games, in fact, as far as I'm concerned, the criminals are far ahead of them. And look at the issue of Boko Haram. Thank God again for the president. So the issue is that those who are committing felonies all over are there committing it. You need to put them in check, or else they will take and run over this country.
Now, Doctor, Mr. Ogunade said we are getting there. What do you make of that? Are you happy with the activities of the police in this regard? Are they doing better than they were doing before? Do you think?
Well, I will say quite frankly that there seems to be an improvement on the part of the police, but it's still a long journey. It's still a long journey. You see, because an average Nigerian policeman is not vigilant. You know, sometimes these crimes are committed. Before you see them, a lot of things must have happened. They are not before. I mean, they are not ahead of criminals. The criminals are fast. You know, the human mind is always conscious of so many devices, and as long as you are sitting behind and expect these people to commit a crime before you go after them, it does not help us. I think that the police should be very, very careful with what is happening, because the security situation is what we cannot predict. Now look at it. The case of Lufala is all over the place. A lot of people go through a lot of crimes and problems, difficulties, but they are not publicized. They are not hard. But I think that it's high time the police come out of their shell. I learned recently that they were going to recruit, but sometimes these recruits, what is the quality of the people you are recruiting? These are dropouts, school dropouts, who forge certificates here and there to engage themselves. Remember the high level of...
I beg your pardon.
Yes,
but many Nigerians do have confidence in the competence of the present IG, and believe that he's going to recruit the kind of policeman that Nigeria requires at this point in time.
Okay.
That's his promise.
Yeah, it's on the level of promise. But let's hope the IG will set a standard, because we have too many riffraffs, so many dropouts from the police system, and it is a very serious setback for a security network.
Yeah.
But what, you're a lecturer. I wanted to ask you, do you think there should be like a reschooling of the police force? But let me take it to Mrs. Benitia. Do you think there should be a reschooling, not retooling?
No. The
Reschooling
entire
of the police
curriculum
force.
of the police force must be changed. We are working with old stuff. We're actually working with the British issues when we were colonized. And therefore, the police were designed to enforce and to oppress at that time. But now policing all over the world has changed. And I met a retired AIG who told me that if you see that curriculum, it's a mess. Anything you produce out of that curriculum will be a mess. Like for us in the Institute, what we say, we have a teaching called the mold that produces. You just need one mold to produce 1,000 cops. And therefore, the curriculum has the power to produce the police we have. For us to change the police attitude to the public and create the level of intelligence that is required in the 21st century. Because remember, this is the 21st century. Cyber, internet, every kind of gadget is available for security, like he says. They need to be equipped.
And for criminality.
And for criminality. But to be equipped, you need intelligence. And therefore, a policeman is not someone who can read or write.
But when we're talking police here, we do know that there is a civil defense corps to secure. It's not just about the police now. We have, let's just say we have like 2 institutions there to secure the country.
The police that has contact with community.
Civil defense is supposed to have contact also with the community.
No, but they can't replace the police.
Okay.
They are colorado.
Yes. The police themselves are the one who deal with the everyday little issues. Oh, someone broke into my house. Something like he said, if we don't have data to understand those who live on those streets, where they move to, at what point they operate, it's a lot of intelligence. And as far as I'm concerned, the IG, if he's sincere, and I believe he is, because he's quite an intelligent man, and we thank God for that appointment, is that he needs to address this issue urgently. I.e., some will have to be retired and given compensation so that they will find what to do. They shouldn't be retired and be dumped. That would not be fair. And bringing new individuals for this hour. You see, Nigeria must know that there is an hour. We have passed the old age. It's over. And no matter how much we want it, it can't stay with us anymore. Internationally, even policing has increased their momentum. While we are still operating with old stuff. We can't compete. And like you said, if there's no security, whether you like it or not, the economy will be affected. Part of this economic issue that we have a downturn is not just the issue of the oil. We have other things that we could use to buffer ourselves. But the issue of security, where men can't come into our country who have the money to invest. So when we are still playing with security, because that's what we're still doing. You know, I look at the political arena and I'm asking them, hello guys, what are you supposed to be discussing? There are urgent matter, one called security. So your attention should be focused on it, and whatever it takes. We have people who have done it all over the world. Singapore of recent has one of the greatest police force. You don't see people around with big guns and big this thing trying to prove a point. No, security has gone underground and has more finesse and more capacity. So we have to make up our mind. You see, this is a question of not funding now, because the average Nigerian say, where's the money? That's crazy. Money is not the first game of moving a nation forward. It's decision. Do we need it? Do we want it? Is it necessary? Is it important? Those questions must be asked, answered. Then we will look for the money. No matter where we have to find it, we must find it for our sakes, because we won't go forward.